What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. We're doing a special one today. We're doing how to crush your bracket pool 2025 March Madness. It's that time of year, so if you guys like fantasy football, you guys also like doing the bracket pools, this is the right channel for you. So definitely hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm going to share with you guys a few things that I like to look at, how to crush your 2025 NCAA March Madness bracket pool. The main one is going to be the KenPom Rankings, Pomeroy College Basketball Rankings. We're going to look at offensive rating, defensive rating, and then their overall efficiency margin, just their net rating. A lot of that stuff I have dated back for a long time. So we'll use some historical data on the KenPom Rankings, and then we'll take a peek at this Trapezoid of Excellence, and then I want to just get some housekeeping out of the way. If you are interested in playing in a $5 bracket pool, I have the ability here to send you guys an invite. If you want, just email me at thefellowkgb at gmail.com. There you go. And then I can send you guys the link to the invite here. There's a password. It's $5. You guys can do up to 2 entries. I have a total of 22 people in here so far. So if you're interested, let me know. Just email me again, thefellowkgb at gmail.com. Let's get right into it. I think we're going to knock out the Trapezoid of Excellence first. And this is a fun, I've been looking at this the last few years. This is Ryan Hammer on X here. And he does a really good job of just presenting this data, and you guys can give him a follow. He's got a bunch of other charts with this Trapezoid of Excellence. But essentially, we're looking at the pace of play and the net rating adjusted for opponent. And you can see here, this green trapezoid is kind of where you want to be. You can see Houston's in here, Duke's in here, Tennessee, a little bit of Texas Tech, Auburn, Florida. Is that Gonzaga in there? And then Maryland. So these teams all have a really kind of what we're looking for to win the national championship in terms of pace and net rating here. There's also a chart here showing the last 10 games, and this is kind of just more recent, who's playing better at the moment right now. You can see Duke really sets the tone at the top of the chart here. Gonzaga, Florida, Clemson, I think, is that Akron or totally? I don't know which logo that is. You got a little bit of Houston in there, and that Colorado State. So check out some of these charts here from Ryan Hammer. He kind of breaks it down by South region as well. So it's just a fun way to look at the data and figure out who's going to play fast, who's going to play balanced, who potentially plays really slow, and then their net rating for efficiency. So that'd be the first tip on how to crush your draft, is just take a peek at these charts and see if the team that you like or the team that you're projecting has a chance with, just some of these stats here. So that's the Trapezoid of Excellence. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time here just looking at the KenPom rankings. And you can see the rankings are on the side here. He basically goes by the net rating, which is adjusted efficiency margin. That kind of ranks you all the way down. And you can see some teams were left out. Ohio State ranks 39th here in the country with efficiency margin, and they didn't make the dance. Northwestern, SMU, Indiana, a lot of snubs here in the top 50-ish or so. But what I like to do is I like to take the offensive rating and the defensive rating, and I kind of just compare these for the last handful of years. So this is the chart that I made, pulled it off. Pretty much, I just pull all the numbers off KenPom, and you can see here, I'm going back to 2010. So we have a good almost 14, 15 years of data here. And what I look at is the offensive efficiency, the defense efficiency, their overall ranking, and then that net margin ranking. And then I come up with a score. I just call it OD score. It's offensive, defensive ranking. And we kind of come up with some numbers here. So if we just look at last year, UConn was the national champion. They were first in offense, 11th in defense. They were the #1 overall team. Their adjusted efficiency margin came in at 32.21, and they had an OD ranking of 12. And again, I'm using the last all the way back to 2010 to come up with these average. So we're looking for an offense that's top 7. We're looking for a defense that's top 10. You could say both top 10. We want a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. That's what we're looking for here. We need a team that's ranked in the top 3 or 4, and we need an efficiency metric of about 30.64. And we need that over. So the offense defensive rankings, I'm just combining those numbers and coming up with a 16.86. And you can see the last couple of years, UConn was top 10 and top 10, top 3 overall. Kansas kind of skewed the system a little bit, but they were top 10 in offense, top 17 in defense, but they were 3rd ranked overall. So that should have, kicked our metrics, because we saw that 3.14 kind of gets the job done. And you can see, like, the last handful of years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The last 9 years, we've seen a team ranked top 3 in this adjusted efficiency margin. They've won the championship. So I do have a feeling here that you need to pick one of the top 3 teams, and you can kind of have your fun picking some of the other upsets, because what's going to matter here is it's not going to matter that you're taking the 1 seeds and the 2 seeds to go all the way to the final 4, the whatever. It matters what you do in between, and using some of these numbers like the adjusted efficiencies and the defense and the offenses, these can kind of help break ties and make your bracket look better. If you have a Duke winning it all and you have the Duke bracket, if you follow some of these principles, they're going to help you guys get the right teams to where you need to go to, to be the best Duke bracket. And that's kind of what the whole point of this is we're going to pick a lot of the heavy favorites, because again, last 9 years, someone's won in the top 3. And if I go back even further, we have a 15 and a 10 in there, and a 14 and a 16, kind of skewing the system a little bit. But for the most part, we need a team that's ranked towards the top. So we're going to identify some teams here. And then I do have some qualifiers here for the runner-ups, the Final Four numbers. But let's go ahead and slide over. And this is the rankings, and this is my chart for the 2025 bracket. And you can see here, I've identified 4 teams that are potential champions. Now, Duke is the #1 overall ranked team. They are 3rd in offense, 4th in defense. They have an efficiency metric that's above the chart. That's more than what we require for them to be the champion. And they come in at 7. And again, my numbers that I require here were basically top 10 offense, defense, anything above 31, we'll call it, for adjusted efficiency margin, and then a 17 or under for that OD ranking. And they check all the boxes. Duke's one of only 2 teams to check all the boxes. Florida is the other one. Adjusted offense is 1, defense is 10, efficiency above 31, and then that offensive defensive rankings coming down below 11. So I have 2 teams that qualify to win the championship that I feel strongly about. So if you're filling out, I don't know, say you're filling out 5 brackets, you need to fill out a Duke one. You need to fill out a Florida one. If you're just filling out 1 bracket, I wouldn't get cute. I would just probably pick Duke or Florida, whatever your preference is. They're both awesome teams here. The stats are saying Duke is the #1 team, and I'm not afraid to do that, to just go with Duke outright. But then we have a couple other teams that I'm like really, really close to saying they're championship qualifiers, and that's Houston, because they satisfy 3 of the. So I'm looking at 4 metrics here, basically 3 metrics and 1 score that I use from the metrics. Houston's top 10 offense, #2 in defense, metrics over 31, and their OD rankings under 17. So I just blue starred the 10, marked it as a runner-up because it was like 9.4 something for offense, or it was 7. You have to be in the top 7 for them to be a champion in the last few years. But we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I listed Houston as a champion, so they're kind of a dark horse champion, even though they're a 1 seed. And then you have Auburn here, who I believe is the #1 overall seed. They rank 12th in defense, which is still very good, but it's just not as good as the other teams above them. So I can see all 4 #1 seeds winning it. If I'm ranking them, it goes Duke, Florida, Houston, and Auburn by a hair. Again, all 4 of these teams are really good. Try to pick these teams to go far. I think your bracket will be good the farther you go. And then you guys can see here, I have the next group of teams here being Gonzaga, Wisconsin, and Clemson. And these guys, they're not your 2 seeds. This is Gonzaga, an 8 seed, Wisconsin, a 3 seed, Clemson, a 5 seed. These guys, they're all in the top 30 for offense and defense. The Badgers are 13th and 27th offensive defensively. Gonzaga is 9 and 29. Clemson 24th offense, 16th defense. And all of these scores here look pretty good. And they're very, very solid here. And they're some of the only teams that, ranked on all 4 of, or I guess all the metrics, whether they had none of these guys have champion offensive, defense, or efficiency metrics, but they all have either runner-up qualities or Final Four qualities. So that's kind of what qualified them as Final Four sleepers. And then the best teams that just didn't quite make the championship or the Final Four run, but in better ways, they are in the Final Four. I have them as runner-ups. That's going to be Tennessee. They qualified as runner-up potential in offense, runner-up potential in their offensive defensive score. They also have Iowa State here, which kind of the same thing. They have the offense metric that I'm looking for. They have the adjusted efficiency margin that I'm looking for. And their defenses are both top 10. I know Iowa State's got an injury here, but I still think they're a good team. I do probably downgrade them just a little bit here, so keep that in mind. But these are the teams that satisfied all four of the metrics that I was looking for, whether it was champion tier, Final Four tier, or runner-up tier. There were a handful of teams that came close and had three of the metrics here. That's kind of this huge block from Illinois to Michigan State. So these guys are kind of your sleepers. These are your Elite Eight, Final Four kind of sleepers here. Michigan State, Maryland, Alabama, Texas Tech, Arizona, Louisville, Texas A&M, UCLA, and Illinois. So I like these teams. Probably not picking any of these teams to win the tournament, though, because, again, you have to have a top 7 offense. Only Alabama and Texas Tech do. You have to have a top 10 defense. Only Michigan State, Maryland, and Texas A&M do, and their efficiencies are kind of below the championship threshold. So I wouldn't be taking any of these teams to win. I would take them either to go to maybe the Final Four at the most, but Elite Eight, these are kind of your Elite Eight candidates here. So I hope that helped. And if it was confusing, I apologize. I'm going to try and condense this and make this better for years future. But that's kind of it. This is what I'm looking for. You guys can. This is a free website, KenPom.com. Look for your offensive rating, your defensive rating, and any other things that you want to look for here. But again, I'm looking for teams that were top 7 in offense, top 10 in defense. They rank in the top 4 overall, and they have an efficiency metric over 30.64. That's your champion. So Duke and Florida, man, those are the 2 teams that stuck out for me. And you guys can check that stuff out for yourself. So there you have it. And hey, if you guys want to join my $5 league on ESPN, just email me or hit me up on X, whatever you need. Again, that's thefellowkgb@gmail.com. Once I get the email, I'll send you the Venmo and the PayPal info. You guys can send me the $5. I'll exchange and send you the password to get into the draft here. So thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening and happy March Madness. Peace. Got me feeling icy.